David from 90 Day Fiancé, in case you guys don't know, this is a show on TLC. You can follow other couples going through a similar journey with as David and Annie on 90 Day Fiancé. Before the 90 Days, airing Sunday nights on TLC. It is David. Are you there?
Good morning. Good morning. Annie is here as well.
Oh, my God. Annie, thank you so much for joining me also. You guys are so famous. Do you know this?
Well, I don't know about how famous, but we're on your show, so obviously, thank you for having us on it.
Yes.
I couldn't wait to talk to you.
It's been a lot of fun sharing our story.
How many people come up to you, on the street? Are you surprised by how many people recognize you guys?
Yes, it's a lot. Everywhere we go, have some people come up to us and say hi. Oh, I just saw you on TV. Oh, I want to take pictures.
Yeah, they want to take pictures, mostly with her, though. Let's be honest. I mean, nobody comes up to a 50-year-old fat guy and say, hey, I want to take a selfie with you. But people do.
Well, they do with Santa, so maybe you got a side job there, David.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have the gifts to give out.
First, I think that speaking of jobs, I think all the fans of the show want to know, did you find a job yet? We've all been rooting for you to get one, and did you?
Let me kind of explain. I am working on some projects. It is not full-time, but I've been doing some projects in the political arena, helping some candidates with campaigns. Obviously, it is not a long-term thing because the elections end in November. So I'm doing a little bit of campaign consulting work, ad design, media buys, coming up with some branding, if you will, for people on both sides of the aisle. It's enough to pay some of the bills. It's not enough to obviously live here in America long term. It's not what we want from a long term perspective. But it is something in the interim while I'm still looking for a position. And as we mentioned at the tell-all, every option is on the table. I put it on social media that even I have offers from overseas, including Saudi Arabia, China, Thailand, Vietnam, Oman, for positions. So we're looking at every option right now.
So why being so picky? When you get to that place of we have no money, we might have to live in a storage unit. I think the biggest question that everyone wants to know is why be picky when you're that kind of desperate for money right now?
That's why I'm doing some projects, is because I have to work and do some things. It is coming back to the U.S. was very different than what I anticipated. I was working in Asia. I was teaching economics in both China, first Thailand, then China. And the quality of life, the cost of living over there, and I was making, by even Western standards, a very good living. And coming back here, it's hard at 50 years old, re-entering the job market. And most people are like, well, great, thank you for coming in, or, just not even getting to that second round because they're looking for 22-year-olds fresh out of graduate school. And I have an MHA, which is similar to an MBA, but I didn't work in the U.S. for 5 years.
Yeah, you're a smart guy.
So even though I was working overseas, I mean, it's different.
Because it was working so well overseas, and it seemed like you were happy in their culture, why not stay there? What made you want to come back?
Well, I wanted to come back for the family. Because I wanted to reconnect with them and rebuild the relationship, and it's still not been perfect, but it's still, working on it. That's a good question I ask myself every day. And
why are you here?
That's Annie.
Sorry.
No, Annie, I mean, I want to know how she feels about that, the way that you think about that every day. And I thought that. I said, I wonder if David considers, it was better actually over in Thailand. Maybe we should move back. Annie, would you want to with David?
Yes, for a long time, for sure. I want to move back to Asia, especially Thailand, my hometown, the happy place, but if I can do something here to make my life is better for even a couple years before we move back, save some money, that would be awesome.
Did you get your working visa yet? Yeah, I get that.
Not yet. Hopefully any time. The process obviously is not moving very quickly, and we hope. I mean, obviously it's it's frustrating. It took a long time to even get our K-1 visa initially. So a lot of these folks on before the 90 days and the 90 days, I can feel for them how hard it is.
It's very hard. I feel jealous with my friend who came before, 4-5 years ago. They get it really easy.
So it has changed. But I'm glad that we got to share our life. And I would encourage anybody to, share their story. I mean, yes, I've gained weight, and I lost a lot of weight when I went over there. I did reinvent myself. When I went over there, it was a mission. I lost, 100 and some pounds, 180 pounds, whatever it was. And I was working. I was healthier. So I wanted to share a story where I found that Annie in my life, and we were happy. I mean, do we have, drama like every couple? Of course. But at the same time, I would tell anyone, reach out to Brooklyn in the casting department and share their story. Because, there's many people out there who are depressed. You see them post on social media saying, oh, my God, I'm so down on this. When you can share a story and cheer them up, even if it's looking at the negative parts of our life or the positive parts with Annie talking about Boom Boom. Those are the things that
was the best.
You want to share.
And sing your song, your Stuck You. That's David's song.
Oh, my God.
She likes the movie Blended. Well, that's from the movie Blended when they go to South Africa. That's what she's referring to.
So
understand
funny.
When she speaks English, it's based on movies and shows. Like Family Guy is one of the shows that how she tries to improve her English.
Hey, I understand that. My kid had autism, and he learned SpongeBob, how to speak through SpongeBob, so I totally get it. Now, I want to know, are you guys still living in a storage facility? Did you wind up taking that apartment at the storage facility?
We did. We did take the apartment here in the manager's unit, if you will. We've tried to do a few things to make it a little bit more homey, if you will, with some cooking plates and rice cookers. And Chris did put in a larger hot water tank, so we didn't have to take a 2-minute shower,
good.
Which was awesome.
And now this whole relationship with David, please, help me understand it. Cause I'm like, I wish I had a friend like Chris. Like Chris has had your back and has really supported you. And I mean, even paid for, Annie's, contract for 10 years to live, and support her. I mean, some of us, joked, where did David bury the bodies? Because what has he done to pay so much money to you?
And that's true. We do back each other up a lot. Even if we don't always agree with decisions, we do support each other as best friends have for 17 years. He is not the co-sponsor. That's why it was taking so long. We mentioned that in the past season on Happily Ever After, that, what I made in Asia before we came and what I made here with some small projects was enough for me to sponsor Annie. So we do not have a co-sponsor at this point. And that's why there is a delay in that. Chris has helped me a tremendous amount. And I do help Chris with many things. He's active in, almost as a community activist here in Louisville. He is currently running for office, for mayor, as an independent. And he has some issues that are important to him. He had a legal case that I have helped, not that I'm an attorney, although I'll play one on TV occasionally. And we say that jokingly because,
you're right.
I've been involved in government politics. And if you follow us on social media, it's, like any friendship, you have your ups and downs. It's
do you
the
think,
way
David,
it is, but he has been a phenomenal person.
Because you're highly educated and, like you said, you can help him out legally and do a multitude of different jobs. Do you think the idea of maybe having to get like a Starbucks or a McDonald's jobs is just too beneath you with your resume?
It's not that I feel that it's beneath me. There's certain things that I physically can't do at 50 years old, certain things from personal wise. It's not that. If I put down on a resume that I was at McDonald's for 30 days, 60 days, and you go in, people want to know why. And I can tell you when you say, well, I just took this job to have a job, they wonder, well, why wouldn't somebody else hire you? And I'm just my own personal feelings. I know a lot of people disagree with me on this. And I don't put anyone down for doing what they have to do to support their family. I just feel very differently about it. That's why my options of going back overseas where I can teach. And I was teaching both at universities and international schools. That's why it's on the table.
That makes sense to me. Like, why not go back over? That's why I asked you that. But for me, I always think, I've done some pretty embarrassing jobs just to pay for some of my, son's therapies. But like, if you and Annie are like hungry, where, like, sometimes you guys, like, you have no money in the bank and yet you pick up fast food. This is how the details I get. I'm like, wait a minute, they're eating fast food right now. Like, where do you get even that money to pay for the food on the table that day when you have no money?
Sure. Some of it is because I'm doing projects for people. So when you do projects, it's not a long-term thing. It's okay, I'm helping somebody with a fundraiser. I'm putting together a mailer. So you get paid for those things. It's not a tremendous amount of money. It's not enough to say, okay, we can go out and buy a new car. We can go out and pay for an apartment that would be what we want. But it's...
So you're getting side money on side jobs, like a little side job, a little money here and there. Job.
Right. Somebody might say, well, that's really beneath them to do that. But I don't... That, to me, is the equivalent to working at McDonald's or Starbucks. It's using what talents that I have and experiences that I have to help people at the same time help myself. So it's, why I do that. And it has been very trying. We're about to approach our, very close to our anniversary in a couple months, which is my daughter's birthday, November 1st.
Hey, that's my birthday.
So we're...
Tell her I said happy birthday. She's a pistol,
happy
Annie.
Birthday. Yes, we got married on my daughter's birthday, which was some drama there because we were running out of days on the visa. And you only have so many days on that 90-day visa. So we were running out of time, and that was a whole issue. But a pre-happy birthday to you, and that will be our first anniversary. And
good for you.
And we don't know what's going to...
We don't know what's going to happen from here, but I want to ask Annie. Annie, are you what are you happy about right now, and what are you still like kind of frustrated about?
For my happiness right now, it's 5 times a week. It's okay. It's happy, but I just want a really apartment. If we decide to stay here, or some, a new car, for half. Radio or air condition because it's so hot. Every time I get in the car, it's like a boiling me. I get upset all the time. I look at David and say, "You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck." That's all I need right now.
Then Annie, you need to stop sucky until you get your air conditioning. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I just need even the bad car, but just have aircon for 99 degrees outside. That would be awesome.
You guys are too funny. David, let me ask you, I guess Paul, we had Paul on last week and he said he met with you and Chris actually offered him a job.
Yes.
That's really nice.
Yes. Chris is a great guy. I enjoyed meeting Paul. I told him it was great. He actually stopped over the apartment. Annie had made some spicy Thai food, and I guess I said some karma. It burned his mouth. I said, see, a little karma there. But Paul was a really nice guy. We didn't get to spend a lot of time. I've talked to him. I wish him and Karini the best, and I hope their story plays out and happy. And
will he take the job?
I've talked to several of the cast members. I'm not sure. That's something that I guess we'll see in the future what happens when his story unfolds. And I don't want to give away anything for him, what might be. But, Chris is that type of person that will offer people jobs. He's not just helped myself. He has helped many different people. He doesn't really give a hand out. He gives a hand up. And that's Chris's philosophy. And it's very true. That's the way he is. He's in his ways.
What would Chris's wife
call it? If you get to come down to the
it?
Derby sometime, I mentioned to him that we were going to be on. He said, well, come down to the Derby because he has Derby tickets, and come join us this year in May if we're here. But he will be here.
Oh, that's really nice. He seems like a good friend. But what would Chris's wife call it? Would she call it enabling?
I think, Nikki would say that it's enabling. So her opinions, you'd have to ask her in general or Chris, but we get along, but it's not perfect. And it just, look, they have their life, and then Chris and I have our friendship. So it's different.
It's different. Do you still get along with his wife?
Yeah, we get along. I mean, it's we don't see her as often, but we do get along. And Annie has gone out with her, and they've had their nails done, and spent some time together. And we see them over at Chris's restaurant, the Fort Knockers he just opened. So we see them over there, and
I want a reality show on Chris. Night. That's what I want to see. I want to see what that guy is up to and where those bodies are buried. Annie, I got to know about Ashley's relationship and yours. I mean, how do you feel like it's still strained with David's daughter? How do you feel now?
I mean, I try to do my best with them, with David's family, with David, but if they don't take it, that's not my problem. It's not my fault.
It's strained, but slowly getting better. Obviously we've had a lot of stress this year with many factors, including Jacob, who is doing better. He is.
I'm
back
so
in
sorry
Kentucky.
about that. Yes, he's doing okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Physically, he is doing better. We have, a long road with some psychological things from, the post-PTSD, if you will. It's been difficult. The boy that shot him, we finally have had that adjudicated. And, it's difficult. It's difficult when somebody who is your friend pulls a trigger and you cannot see your friend anymore. So it's, and the fact that his friend shot him. So it's been a lot for him to bear. But he is back in Kentucky.
Do you feel responsible?
He just celebrated his 19th birthday on the 24th.
Do you ever feel that kind of
I was able to go
guilt?
with my dad and him.
David, do you ever feel that kind of guilt, as us parents do, which we talk about a lot on the show? Like, it's hard not to feel guilt as a parent, but do you feel like maybe his circumstances were a little bit, contributed to me not being there in his life?
Of course, you have those feelings that, if I could have done something differently, would the outcome have been different? Right. But at the same time, if I would have done something different, would he have gone in a different direction that could have been worse? So, no matter what decisions we make, there's still, in my heart of hearts, I did everything the best that I could under the situation, and the outcome is what it is. That doesn't mean you stand in the middle of a highway and say, well, the truck didn't hit me, it wasn't meant to be. But given the situation in his life growing up, I did the best that I could under that. Him being at his friend's house, I don't feel guilty about that because it was his friend. I mean, if we can't protect our children and leave them locked in a house, especially at 18 years old, it's right. They make their own decisions. And, I want to help guide him back to a better place. Physically, I'm relieved. I mean, he'll always have that scar, and there's, it is what it is.
And there's a reason you came back there to form a relationship with your kids again, which I love seeing. I'm hoping that works out.
And we're trying. I mean, they're getting older. My children are going to be, Ashley will be 29, Brittany will be 28 the end of this year, and Jacob turned 19. So they are grown as far as that goes. I mean, they're never going to stop being your children. But at the same time, I'm a better father when I can do for myself and I can do for them, as I was in Asia. So even though you're miles apart, with communications today, whether it's using apps to communicate, it's no different than almost being across town. And that's how, that's just how it is. I mean, to me, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
What about the future holding with babies? Are you planning on getting Annie knocked up anytime soon?
Well, obviously the surgery would have to take place first, and from a financial standpoint,
your sperm not work anymore.
Okay,
so I had a vasectomy that has to be reversed.
Right. And so you haven't done that yet. And I know that we've talked about that. They've talked about that on the show. You haven't done the surgery yet because that does cost money. And
it is.
And the one thing I'm going to be honest, and I want you to be honest with me, with the passport, I was wondering, because you were tight on money, did you ever get those lawyers to get her work visa going? Because I know that costs money. So did you?
Right. Well, I paid for that back when I did have some money from Asia, because I was still working towards the end. It was struggling. So no, I paid the visa and the adjustment of status. It was almost $1,875 because we did apply for the work permit and travel permit.
Okay, good.
So we did that simultaneously. And the lawyer is a friend of mine and said, once you get started, then you can pay me the rest of it, because I paid him some. And so he has been awesome. He's out of L.A. Our friend of mine, immigration lawyer, he does a lot of work in Thailand, and he's American, but he's on Thai TV out of L.A. So he's been awesome.
Annie, let me ask you a question about this. So Annie, do you still want a baby, correct?
I don't sure for this point, because I still living in store unit, and I don't want to raise my children here. On Dixie Highway, you see zombie walk every night. It's horrible.
Right.
I really don't sure. If David have money for, do vasectomy, I think it's better take money, go get some car to have aircon.
So you're saying it's better to just go ahead. Do you want to explain, David?
Let me think about that. But if wait for more couple years, David's getting old and he cannot. I don't know. Maybe okay, maybe not.
Okay, so you're okay. So basically, Annie, you won't leave David if he won't have a baby. You'll stay with David,
I don't know.
Even if no baby.
I don't know. Future. Yeah, for now, I want to do my best with everything with him,
Yeah.
But in the future, who knows? I don't know. I do my best.
You do. And, so many viewers love you. We think you're so funny, especially when you talk about Boom Boom. David, I want to ask you about some of the other couples. You become fans of theirs, not fans, but friends with them. And I noticed during the reunion, you kind of chime in, you do some Dr. Phil moments with them. Who do you think you can look at and recognize their issues and give advice?
Well, it's always easy. It's always easier to look at somebody else's life.
Exactly.
And, so as people are looking at my life, it's easy for them to say, go do this, go do that. And I respect that. Now, also being 50 years old now, it's easier to look at, and I'm going to use Azana Nicole for an example, that it's, 27 years old and 22, 23 years old, and say, okay, I've been down that path. And I've traveled the world. I know how visas work and overstays, and I have friends from all over the planet. And you look at that and say, okay, just my opinion of this. When it wasn't that I was trying to go after anybody in particular, and that wasn't the case. If Shauna was asking some good questions, and just I didn't want to sit there for all day long and not be engaged. And I'm a fan of the show. I watch the show. And I see them, and it's like, I see what path they could head down. Kind of like, people can look at my life.
Right. It's easier from an outside perspective, for sure.
Go do this. Go get a job. Go get a job. But you sitting in the people who complain you like, they just sit at the couch with 300 pounds and eat hamburger. So,
David, who do you think has the best chance and the least chance according to your perspective? Who do you think's
as
not?
Far as a long-term relationship?
Yeah, who do you think out of the foreigners saying, okay, no, they're in it for the green card. They're not. I can sniff a rat.
Very few people I feel have come just for the green card. I mean, I'm sure there are some cases, it's not like we're sitting in their living room every night knowing their conversations. And, I don't think Luis and Molly came with bad intention. I think it was a bad outcome. But I just think that both of them came with good intentions of having a relationship. It didn't work out. Now, I don't know Danielle and Muhammad besides watching a little bit, going back previous episodes.
Tonight. Right.
Annie watches some of the clips. So that is probably one of the cases I felt that she was used and I felt bad for her. I don't think Azan really wants to come to America, so I don't think he really cares about a green card personally. I don't think there's any ambition to come to the United States. I feel bad for Nicole for that.
Yeah, like he was taking money from women around the world, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, lucky guy, right? But at the same time, he's not very lucky because he's going to end up, karma. That's all I can say is karma will bite him in the end. If that's really what's happening.
Have you talked to? Is Annie's family happy? Do you know? Are they loving you? Do they think you're a good guy? Are they still waiting for their dowry money?
Yeah, they're happy. They happy because every month, I send some money back for buy some rice. Especially now this time of year, it is raining a lot and flooding everywhere in Thailand. It is a hard time for them, but something I can help to make my parents happy. I do it.
Of course
so we send a little bit. Even when I do make some money, we send. But it's all relative to what you make. So understand the average Thai income is $300 a month. And they live in a rural area near Laos, not far from the Mekong River. And I just posted pictures of having severe flooding in Thailand this year. It is the rainy season.
So is this money you're sending back part of the dowry or just part of support? And the dowry is not paid off yet?
It's not part of the dowry. It is just something that is common to do, is that you help the family there. And even if it's buying $30 worth of rice, which is a 50-pound bag, which lasts for months, those are the little things just to say, so grandma and grandpa can go to the temple across the street and say a prayer. Those are the little things that
make them happy.
Yeah.
Make me happy to do that.
Yeah.
So, because I keep doing that before I met David. So I talked to David. Okay, if we marry or we together, I still want to do that with my family. It's not cost me that much to do that.
Exactly, Annie. Last question.
That's part of the cost.
And Annie, before I let you go, when you get your visa, what kind of job do you want?
When I get my visa, what kind of job I want? I really don't know what did they have. I have to look more for opportunity. But I want to go to school to get my education because when I go back to Asia, I can teach over there and make a good money.
Nice. And it was not true.
She talked about working at the airlines. She wants to work as a gate agent so we could fly back more often.
That's really nice. That's a good job. And that whole joke about working in the ping pong bar was a total joke, correct? You had nothing to do with working in a sex club at
I cannot
all.
do that.
No.
I like to watch because it's fun. Same everybody else, but I don't know how to do that. It is just some people, they have something special about themselves. They can do that. For me, I cannot use my vagina to open the cola Coke. That's horrible. But it's fun to look. But
I want to learn how to do that. I was going to ask you some tips. I can't. I want to push ping pong balls out of my pussy too.
If you want to go to Thailand, I can show you around. They have, but not everywhere in Thailand. Sure, in tourist area, they have something for everybody. If you like party, if you like fun life, yeah, they have it. If you like, a beautiful sea, beautiful temple, they have a lot of that. You will love Thailand.
So, Jenny, if you ever want to go to Thailand, Annie said that we could be your tour guide, and she will show you all around, and then you can go see the ping pong show.
I'm going to see the ping pong show. I want to watch someone open a beer can with their pussy. You guys are going to be my tour guide. David, Annie, thank you so much for joining me on my show. You guys can follow other couples going through the journey.
Welcome.
Your guys' Instagram. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, thank you for having us on. We love watching all the different 90-Day Fiancé shows. We appreciate the opportunity. And I'll say again, if somebody who's listening wants to share their story, talk to Brooklyn over in casting. And I have a link on my Instagram as well, because I think it really can encourage other people to change their life and find romance or love or friendships around the world, and that borders are just that, borders.
Thank you so much, David and Annie. I appreciate the time. I'm wishing you guys both well. And David, any updates, you better freaking call back the show and give us some scoops, okay?
Absolutely. Okay. And next time I watch, happy anniversary to you guys. Annie looked at that and I said, I'm not going to be able to fly you in on a helicopter for our anniversary this year.
Yeah, you drive me with the truck with no air and no radio.
She sings anyway in Thai, so it's good.
God bless you, Annie. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much, David and Annie. Good luck to you guys. Talk to you soon.
Be well.
Be well. Bye, guys. We'll be right back with more Jenny McCarthy Show. Don't go.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!